everyone, it's another exciting episode right here on Lexan TV where it's all about life. And you know that once there's a Grenadian doing something, shining their light, doing what they love and what they're truly passionate about, I got to find them and I got to talk to them, right? And I have to share the interview with you. So I'm so happy to finally get to connect with this young man. He is a trailblazer, and of course, he is following his passion. I love that. Following your passion, breaking the traditional route, doing what you love to do, and more importantly, making money when you do it, right, Wendell?
Of course, of course. Well, I mean, if it's
Alright.
a passion, you put the time in, you have to get paid.
Absolutely, so true. So, folks, I just want to say warm welcome to Wendell Bullen, a son of the soil. Well, soil, sister soil. You'll find out more for those of you who are not sure of the story.
Yeah.
And we know him as Wendell. There's so many names we know you by: King Kayak, Kayak dancer. And
Yeah.
I just want you to share your story. I know you've shared your story many times, but obviously every time around, it's a different conversation based on
True.
who you're talking to and based on what we're discussing today. But
That's true.
thank you so much for accepting my invitation and welcome officially to Lexan.
Thank you again for having me.
Go.
It's a pleasure. It's an honor, honestly, because when I used to live in Grenada, the only place I saw you was on TV. So
Oh,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm good. I try to tell me, well, no, just joking.
No. I mean, um, definitely memorable as far as the work that you've been doing for years,
Thank you. Thank you.
and like growing up, I always said that I would be that my dream was to become an entertainer.
Yeah.
So everything just came back in full circle. So it's funny, but it's just like it's a moment for me to say, wow, like whatever you put out there, you're gonna get it back.
Yeah, man, that's so true. I am intrigued with your story. I've read articles based on your journey. I've spotted interviews with you online, but I want you to share it with me as well firsthand and for the Lexan TV viewers. And I think the first thing, because I know you left Grenada pretty much after wrapping up secondary school, because you were a student of GBSS. Correct me if I'm
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
So tell me a little bit about your fondest memories growing up in Carriacou, because you are a
Um,
son of Carriacou soil.
yeah. So yes, I was born and raised in Carriacou. I was born at the Princess Royal Hospital. Um, my father is Lyle Bullen. My mother is Rebecca Roseman. Everybody knows her as Iceland,
Wow.
in Carriacou. So growing up in Carriacou was awesome. At a very young age, I was just very active. My family would try to keep me in anything with dance or singing, music, whatever it was. I would be involved in it. I went to the Leicester Rosary School in Leicester, of course,
Right.
and no matter what it was, whenever they need somebody for the choir, they have like a talent show, you would always see me there. Because I think at a young age too, my older sister Rowan, she used to go to like little parties, she used to go to the little school fair and everything, and I used to always beg her to bring me because at home they play any music, I get up a bossa wine, something, So they know when they take me to the party, like I wouldn't be shy to do anything. I would just get right to it. So that's where a lot of that
Yeah.
fun and crazy side kind of started. And over the years, I I was getting inspired by a lot of what very few dancers were in Caracol,
Hmm.
because at that time too there weren't that many, but my older brothers, they were cool with a few of them. And as I got older and got more into music and videos and just learning all of these things, like BET and everything, and just hearing my brothers talk about it. After I got out of school, every day they would be watching BET, whatever they watch. But I got hooked on BET, so that's what I would try to watch every time I get out of school. And at that time, that's when Usher was doing a lot more music videos. Usher was like hot at the time, but he's still hot. You know what I mean? He's still doing his stuff. His music is still amazing. But around that time, that's when I first discovered him. And from there, I was still too young to be going to the adult parties to see those dancers that were on the island. But um, honestly, over the years, just from seeing one or two of them do like a little something, just a little piece of something, I was just like, I need to learn this. And um, one of the things that one of the movie that really said it for me, and I was like, all right, I have to be a dancer. I have to do this. I watched the movie You Got Served.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
yeah. Because around all that time too, I'm still in school. I'm still dancing, learning my body a little bit,
Hmm.
and just being around whatever people, whatever person that would show me a little dance or something. I would try my best to just be there, just learn it,
Yeah.
and
Can you, if I can just jump in for a quick second, can
yeah, yeah.
you remember? Because I mean, I am older than you are, but I do have fond memories of BET when we got cable TV in Grenada. After school, everybody just wanted to go home to see the music videos. So I know exactly what you mean. And did you have, or do you recall the first time you saw a music video and there was just something about it, you wanted to follow all the steps in the choreography of that music video? Can you remember?
I think the first music video that I ever really try to learn moves, because before I would just like watch it. And then when you know your body, you know what you can do, you're like, that looked kind of easy. I think I kind of do this before. That I was watching a lot of what was it? I watched Rock My World, Michael Jackson.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's where I pretty much was getting more into Michael Jackson at the time.
Hmm.
Cause then I seen the moves and I was trying to learn like the kick and everything. I was like, yeah. ah, everywhere you saw me, you see me trying a little something, honestly.
Oh my goodness. So you migrated, you got the opportunity to migrate, and I know a lot happened for you because obviously being an immigrant, moving to another country, there are a few things you needed to sort out, but
Yeah.
you managed for not for some reason. We know the reason because I think it was you were destined to be where you are, and with your hard work and your perseverance. But you just you connected with the right people in the right
Definitely.
industry. Tell me about the first time you connected with someone that totally changed everything for you, Wendell.
So when I started high school in Brooklyn, so what was different for me too, right? In high school in Grenada, we focus on our studies. They give you the list of subjects you study, and that's it. But in Brooklyn, what was so different was they had specific classes. It wasn't just mathematics. It's like algebra. It was this. It was that. Now, fast forward to when I graduated, I did not like. Well, maybe before I graduated, I didn't know that you could choose a specialized school because if I knew that, then I would pressure my mom to send me to an art school. So I went to a regular school, but the school was amazing. My principal was a Grenadian too, so I couldn't give any trouble. But so I would dance throughout high school, but I never had any training. Everything I learned was from I got a chance to go on YouTube to see it. I would just the more you continue doing it, you discover new things. Um, I met this guy. His name is Lamont Joseph. So I was in the 11th grade. I said the end of the 10th grade in high school in New York, and I had these two friends from Jamaica, and we all danced. So we were like, okay, let's start a little crew. And that's what we did. We were the dancers in high school. But at their building, this guy, he worked for their building, but he's actually a ballet instructor. He does modern, all of that stuff. So he saw us dancing outside. So he actually got us the chance to rehearse and practice in the community room.
Right.
And he would come after school and actually teach us. He would be stretching with us, teach us how to stretch, how to do this the right way. And he would see who was serious out of the bunch. And I mean, I was just eager to learn everything because I've never had the chance to go to any dance or art school to learn anything. This was just the hunger and just like, okay, anything you throw at me, I'm ready. So fast forward, when I graduated, a friend of mine told me about a nonprofit organization. It's called The Door, and that place they do a lot for community. They do a lot of community work. They help a lot of kids that are homeless, kids that are runaways. they're facing abuse. They help with legal stuff. They help them get jobs, everything like that, for free until you get to a certain age. So as soon as I graduated high school and my boy told me about it, because I heard about it through my community service person in school, but around that time I'm still new, so I'm not really going much places by myself. So when I got there, it was the summer of 2012. I met the artistic director, Anthony Rodriguez, and like everybody else, I know that he always gets questions about, hey, when do you guys have dance and whatever? Because that spot, they taught ballet, they taught hip hop, they taught jazz, they taught flamenco, they taught a little bit of African. Anthony would bring in so many different instructors, and some who are celebrity instructors too, and some were still in their prime, some were still getting their feet wet, but they'll still come back and give back and teach us. So as soon as I discovered that year I started college as well, every day after school I will go there, and I went to that spot for 2 years straight, 5 days a week, from 2 p.m. to 7, sometimes to 9 p.m. every day for the 2 years. And after that two year mark, I became like one of the main dancers he would call to do the show, or if they would do like little benefits or fundraisers, they would throw me in there. Wendell, I need you to do this. Go do some flips. Go do this. Go learn some choreography. And I would be in every piece because I never limited myself to any style of dance. And then 2013, no, 2014. Because before 2014, he would send me to little auditions.
Right.
And I remember I went to my first audition for Missy Elliott, and I choked. Because the thing is, I had the choreography down. I knew it. Because even though I wasn't a trained dancer, I knew that whatever I saw and whatever they threw at me, I would get it.
Right.
And I had the choreography, but it was just being in that room, seeing Missy, seeing all these dancers that I've been watching growing up in Grenada, seeing them on movies and all of. I'm like, I'm in the same audition with these people.
It must
So
have been such a moment, right?
when I got in front of her, they're like, all right, do the choreography. I'm like, all right. I do my little freestyle flip, whatever. And as soon as the choreography start, I stuck. I was just
No.
couldn't move. And they only gave us 2 chances, and I messed up both chances. And after that, I told myself I will never let that happen again. And ever since then, just the training from the door, they ended up making me a little bit of an assistant. And I was like, I want to choreograph a little bit. Then I became a choreographer, and I became a teacher. And yeah, the rest is history.
The rest is history. I mean,
Yeah,
wow. Sometimes on your way up, you got to bump into a few walls,
definitely.
some disappointments, some rejections. And listen, Wendell, this is a field that there are scores and scores of young men and women, hopefuls who want to be the next it dancer, want to score
Definitely.
big for the Beyonce, the Jennifer Lopez, you name it. Everybody they want it. You all want it. But I think it's fantastic that you just gotta keep treading along. Tell me about your first major, because that happened. Yeah, it was a tough blow for you. But let's talk about a major opportunity that would have opened many doors thereafter for you.
So another thing that a lot of people don't know as well, for a while I was undocumented. So even when I became a better dancer, performer, whatever you name it, I could, even if I was at the point where I could outshine everybody in the room, there were so many no's that I had to just take and just say, all right, the time is coming, because somebody want me to travel to do this video, to do this, and I'm like, I can't travel yet. I'm in the process, but I can't.
Yeah.
And it was nerve wracking. But the biggest opportunity for me was from the door as well. We got the chance to perform for Prince William and Kate Middleton. The Prince, if nobody knows, the Prince of England.
Yes.
So because the door would help so many people, so many different communities,
Mhm.
then they would have different people that would donate and different people that would help with their causes. So that one year that Prince William was in New York and he was doing all the press and everything, he came to the door at our studio. We put on a private performance for him and his colleagues, and it was amazing because I had my little solo parts to do. I had group pieces. It was an all day thing. So it was amazing because I mean I was like, yo, the Prince of England, like I'm performing for a prince right now.
You were
Yeah,
in your element, like they say.
yeah,
Loving
yeah.
it all, soaking it all up. What would you say, Wendell, is one of the best piece of advice you've ever received, and who would have been that person to give you that advice?
It's hard for me to really pinpoint who and what was said by that specific person.
Mm-hmm.
But what I can say is one of the biggest things that, oh, sorry,
That's okay.
one of the biggest things that always sticks out to me is because I've heard it from many different influential people that I look up to, is just always be yourself on the journey, and
Totally.
even after you get there, because so much can happen along the way, and I experienced it firsthand.
Yeah.
That the growth, the disappointments, everything.
Yeah.
You just have to
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
find that time, find that balance
Yeah.
to stay sane and just continue being yourself and don't feel like you have to change yourself for anybody else. It's
Well,
either they accept you or they don't.
well said. I could not have agreed with you anymore. Fantastic. Let's talk about Miss Janet Jackson, okay? We just need to jump into it. We need to jump
uh
into it because I know you, again, networking is so crucial for the industry.
yeah.
Tell me, how did that happen? Share that story with us again.
I danced every style that I could possibly. If I could learn it, I try it at least once, even if I don't continue it again. So over the years that you know I've been meeting so many different choreographers, going to different dance classes, going to so many auditions, performing for so many other artists. Like before Janet Jackson, I did Neo. I performed with Dr. Oz. I did like it was a lot of different things, but definitely Janet Jackson was the biggest. Um, just having that connection with people over the years. Well, one of the things that people that I realized that people loved about me is the fact that I never limit myself. If you came to me and like said, hey, I need you to do this, even if I didn't have as much experience, or if I had no experience in it, I would still do my best.
That's right.
So over the years that I would just be doing that in every situation. Class, audition. You go to audition, all you know is you might see somebody flying and flipping in the air and come back and do some crazy stuff. That's me.
That's you.
So oh so just over the years of connecting and meeting all of these people, so I joined a dance company called Dancer Family. So it's not necessarily like a crew. It's more like a collective of choreographers and dancers, but specifically that focus on dancehall and soca. We focus on the diaspora, So we all have our own thing going on, but we all come together and help each other out. And we're all in different countries all over the world. So each of us, no matter what is going on, if there's like a job that requires somebody in New York or somebody in France or somebody in LA, if we're not there, we can say, hey, my team member is there.
Nice.
So one of my team members, he was living out here in LA. I'm in LA right now. So
Yes.
um, he was living out here, and his friend, she's an amazing choreographer, Amari Marshall, Amari Monster. So she was one of the assistant choreographers for Janet Jackson, and she knew my colleague, my brother Slip. So they knew about the shoot happening in New York, and they were looking for the top dancehall dancers in New York, and they couldn't get all of us, so they settled for a few of us. And when we got there, we made up the dance real quick, and they were just like, all right, so we're gonna shoot in a few, and that was it. We didn't do any rehearsal for that. Like it was just, hey, are you available? And boom. It's just one of those things, you have to be ready no matter what.
That's a thing. That's a thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like she's amazing. She's so humble. She was in the rehearsal, like whatever. I mean, after the video, she called us for performances and stuff like that. And that, like, she's in the rehearsal with us. She don't know a style, whether it's Afrobeat or dancehall. She's in the studio with us, and we're like, and the thing about it is too, you have to be professional. We wanna go crazy, like, oh my gosh, you're next to me, but it's like, no, we're here after the same goal, so we're here to work.
Focus, right?
And
Yeah, yeah.
it's
That's important. Because you get all starstruck and then, yeah, you
Yeah, and
forget a step or two.
it's crazy too because I'm in a situation now where I have the power to be, I have some influence now, and when people react a certain way, I'm like, okay, this is why this celebrity reacts this way. So I'm like, okay, now I just have to, know when and where,
You have
because we are humans at the end of the day. So
you have to. Who's the
we all
next
have our personality.
name performer artist that you would love to share the spotlight with?
Chris Brown, Chris Brown, Usher.
Gosh, yes.
So
He's
well, I got a chance to I say maybe share a little bit of the Chris Brown stuff, not as much, but the choreographer that well, he's the main choreographer for Chris Brown now.
Mhm.
He also choreographed for Neo. So when I performed with Neo on Good Morning America and Jimmy Kimmel Live,
Correct.
um, so I met him. We connected, and when they shot a video for Chris Brown. Which video was this? I forgot which one it was, but they were on a boardwalk. And in dance hall, we create our own dance moves, our own little vibes.
Right.
My friend was in the video, so he taught them my move, and they did Chris Brown and his dancers did my dance move. So it was cool.
That's awesome. And listen, you got to keep pushing. And I know you're in LA. I mean, the mecca of, hey, listen.
Yeah.
How long have you been in LA, Wendell?
So I've been in. It's crazy. I hope they don't think I talk too much, but everything that happens is a story, because my life is a whole movie.
Yeah, that's why this is happening. I'm all heirs. We are all heirs.
So because of the pandemic, unfortunately, a lot of me and my colleagues, like, we lost all our work
Yeah,
for the time.
yeah.
So we decided we can sit here and complain, or we can figure out a solution. So my friend Blacka the dancer, he's also in Dancer Family. He created his own agency called Dancer Agency.
Nice.
So a couple of us decided to move in together to host our own online classes and teach tutorials and everything. So the money we were making from that weekly, we put it towards rent. So we got a whole apartment to rent in Brooklyn, and we did it for a couple months from, I think, March until May, early June. And then we were like, yo, New York is expensive. We could pay less money somewhere else and do the same thing. We could be remote, be anywhere we want to. So we were like, okay, let's go to Atlanta. So
Right.
like, all right, we could get a house in Atlanta. We can have a whole spot for ourselves and everything. It would be cool.
Well,
And then at the last second, we said, all right, let's just go to LA, because
yeah.
LA is more on lockdown. It's more chill. We don't have to be out everywhere. And 12 of us moved out here to LA in like June. Yeah. So since June, I've been here. But half of them kind of went back because they have their own things going on in New York. But there's a main six of us. Like, we're out here working like crazy. We're working with each other, working for each other. It's just a team thing going on.
That, you know what, that is awesome. And I really admire your drive because you have to constantly be in the wanting mode, so to speak,
Yep.
because it's not going to get tossed your way. You got to make it happen. You got to make that
True.
call. You got to send that WhatsApp message. You have to constantly be.
Ooh.
You got to keep yourself relevant. You got to keep. Wendell, this has been an absolute fantastic conversation. Before we wrap up, let's come back home for a second. You know,
Yep.
I know you have a lot of plans and dreams for, let's say, Grenadian aspiring dancers,
Oh yes, a
there.
lot.
And I know the creative arts industry in Grenada, it's been pretty much on the same, yeah, no.
As
What,
far as support,
what would you like to see change? What one thing, two things, a whole bunch of things? What would you like to see change?
don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
We respect our elders. They have a lot of information to give, but I think the elders need to stop having that one track mindset of like, I'm older, so I have more information.
Yeah.
No, you're never too old to learn. You're never too young to teach. So as far as with helping out the youth, there has to be relatable people there to represent the youth, to represent for the youth, because then if it's only adults trying to be involved in stuff that the teens like, the children like yes, there has to be guidance, but you can vet people to make sure that they can be the right guides. So people in a position of power to have certain things, just let go a little bit and be more open. Like, so when I went back to Grenada, it was amazing. I worked with the Ministry of Arts. It was amazing. I taught free classes to the kids. um but yeah, I had some, I say, questions about certain things. I was trying to organize certain things, but then I realized it's a whole process. But in my mind, I was like, if there was a group of like, and they have young individuals that are part of it. Don't get me wrong, but the people that make the decision, sometimes I think they need like a young person next to them. Like, hey, this makes sense for this because dancers need this, dancers love this, or this is what the artists need. Because if that doesn't happen, because these adults, they're not in it. They're not the ones doing it, and things are changing when you're talking about arts and culture. It changes, and not everybody has and the mentality like, okay, let's adapt, let's figure this out and see how we can adapt and work our way around it. You know.
Yeah.
So that's like the biggest thing. It's just, and especially me being this young and doing this. Sometimes I'll have conversations with certain people, and I'm just like, the way they respond to me, I'm like, okay, I can tell that you have a one-track way of thinking.
Yeah.
So it's just having more of that representation of like active people in it.
I understand.
Because then I can tell I feel like with the knowledge I have now, I can go to a room with a group of artists and say, hey, when you're in this place or you're in this setting, this is what you should know. This is what you should do. This is what you can do. It can't just be, okay, the dancers want something, so let's organize this thing once a year for them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they want this, let's do this for them. Because what I noticed too, sometimes whoever is, depending on who is hosting certain things, sometimes it can be in the benefit of something else that they probably have a plan with, when sometimes the main focus should just be straight on, Yeah. It shouldn't be, okay, let's do an event for dancers, but then it's about a whole different thing.
Yeah.
Keep it specific, because that way you build that community. There are so many young people talented in Grenada that need it, and they shouldn't have to feel like they need to leave to get the information. Yeah.
It's not just about being a good dancer.
It's not.
So multifaceted. You have to understand the business. You have to understand professionalism. You have to understand. Listen, we can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
I think at the end of the day, like you say, sometimes they need to loosen the reins. Just
loosen the reins, because it's art. It's art too.
It is.
You can't put any restriction on that.
It is. But
I mean, if I had $10 million now, I would go build the best facilities. I already have the plan. So in the future. In the future.
And hey, just keep doing your thing. I truly admire your drive, and thank you so much for flying the flag for Grenada, Kayak, Petit Martinique, the Trial.
Always. Any video you see with the flag,
Hey, the representation is real, and that is fantastic. Wendell, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much again for making time for me and for Lexan TV. All the best with your endeavors. Do keep me posted. Any updates you have of future plans, I'll be more than happy to share with the viewers.
Definitely. Thank you so much again for the opportunity to get on here.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. All the best, and stay at it.
Thank you. Take care.
Dreaming of taking a break and escaping to an idyllic, happy place? Well, finding it does not require you to go too far. You already live in paradise. All it takes is for you to go out and discover it. Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique are blessed with a wide variety of accommodation that satisfy any taste and budget. Find the one that suits you and your family and treat yourself while having peace of mind that your health and safety is a priority. Knowing that we have gorgeous waterfalls, stunning beaches, and flavorful cuisine, let's be tourists in our own islands and enjoy paradise at home.
Everyone, that was my interview with Wendell Bullen, of course, you know him as King Kayak, Kayak the dancer. Certainly hope you've enjoyed that interview. Grenadians out there doing their thing. You know, I just want to say kudos to each and every one of you. Don't forget, you can catch up with interviews, past interviews, of course, and features on the Facebook page. And now the YouTube channel is officially up and running. So check it out and subscribe and share today. Until next time, take good care, and we'll see on Lexan TV, where it's all on life.